I think I finally have my phone stable enough to record this, hopefully. But honestly, if it like the phone falls over in the middle of this, I don't even care. I have got to get the emotions off my chest. The book came out around 4 p.m. I don't know. Around then, I got it immediately. I basically read it from then until about like maybe half an hour ago, unstopping. Um, and I was just like the entire time, like, oh my god. I know that there was like, I don't want to really spoil anything because I want everyone to be able to have like a pure enjoyment of their first read of it. This is going to be kind of a review, kind of a, I don't know what this is. It's a reaction. It's like a necessary unburdening of my soul after reading that. Um, I think Nora's done it again. It's a hit. I loved it. Um, does it share the same trigger warnings and kind of crazy levels of nastiness that AFTG did? Yes, definitely. Like, proceed with caution. But I think I I really enjoyed it. I think it's like I almost want to say that it was better than AFTG, and maybe that's because of a combination of things. Like maybe that's nostalgia for the series, and so like being able to go back into it, I was just like really excited. And I already knew where I was, so I didn't have to like get really adapted to anything. So I think that's definitely like part of it. Like I think if you the first time you read the Foxhole Court, not that you're not going to love it, but you have to like get into the universe first. But with coming back to it, like I already know the universe, and it's fun because it's new characters, um, but the old characters are still there. So I was just like I enjoyed the hell out of it, honestly. I'm so excited for book two, which I thought that there was going to be three books. There's only going to be two. I apologize for that. But I am so excited for book two. I think this really, like, the other reason I think maybe I feel like this is better is perhaps like Nora's writing style has matured. But I think, like, this has all the hallmarks of Nora's writing. Like, she just has, like, a style that's all her own. Like, the way people talk is crazy and not the way anyone talks. But I love it. And there's like a minutia of daily life that's like really amazing that I enjoyed that I feel like is like not the way people normally write books, and I think that's sort of a thing that you get into when this kind of self-publishing um, situation is like there's no one kind of controlling how it looks, um, and so it's pure like what Nora wants to put into it. And so that's like really comes through. Like her writing style just is so hers, and that's really like that's one of the reasons it's such a unique thing to read. Um, I also feel like in AFTG, the romance is you have like Grumpy Stormcloud 1 and Grumpy Stormcloud 2, and they're two like it's seeing Andrew and Neil come together is great and it's amazing. But in this, you have Jeremy, who is a goddamn saint. I love him. Oh my god. I think he's the greenest flag ever. Um, Jeremy, who's like a sunshine, beautiful, wonderful person, and Jean, who is like beyond, beyond, he's like oof, John is rough. And I like John, and I'm like pulling for him all the way. But wow, he's grumpy, and the other one's Sunshine. It's like the perfect grumpy Sunshine pairing, and the way they're sort of like you can see their story arc going together like immediately. Whereas if you'd asked me from like day one on All for the Game, I would not have like first book. I don't know that I maybe first book, but like first half of first book, I don't know that I was like, oh yes, Andrew and Neil are gonna end up together. But this, you can see it, and it's awesome. Like the team itself too, like all the characters that are introduced for USC are amazing, and like the representation that's there is like more different than was on um, in AFTG, and it's just like they're everything that was happening was just so exciting because if you think about like it's at the end of it's at the end of the season where the Ravens lose and like all this turnover happens with like all the gangs and stuff, and so like there's so much turmoil going on in the XE world that it's just like nonstop excitement. And I think I kind of forgot that like in you don't get that until book 3 in AFTG, and this is like right away in your face. Like all of this stuff is happening, and having like Jeremy's point of view, having like all of these kind of like Jeremy's storyline, which you don't get all the answers to, and there's things there that like I'm really looking forward to being explored in book 2. It's just like it was so fun to read. I certainly suffered because it was tough to read too. Like there are definitely parts about for John's past and what has happened to John that are really difficult to read, and just like I don't know. It's so hard. It's one of those things where like um, you it's like irony for you because you know what the truth for that character is, but they can't say like that to anyone else, and everyone has all these opinions about them and is blaming them for different things because of what they are perceiving, and so it's one of those situations where you're like your heart just goes like it just goes out to the character, and you're so like you feel so much like for them, and that's definitely how I felt for John throughout all of this book. But it was like, yeah, I read it in like probably 4 hours. It took me 4 hours to read it. Like it was, and it was unputdownable. So I hope anyone who's watching this video, like hopefully you've already read it because like it was really good. And there's like all kinds of little things in it that like are really nice touches. I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to also talk about. Okay, so spoiler here. Don't watch the next like 30 seconds. Guys, one of my favorite things was that after Rico dies, up until that point, John's been like referring to Neil as Nathaniel, and then once Rico dies, John starts like referring to Neil in his head as Neil, and I was just like just that little shift in mindset was like, oh, it was so good. I loved that. So, spoilers over. Oh my god, there's so much more I want to talk about. I can't believe Jeremy is a rich boy. It's like, I don't know. Where else are you going to get fun cars if you don't have at least one rich boy on the team? But yeah, Jeremy being wealthy was like not on my. Jeremy having a butler, not on my like, not in my perceived possible items, but it is what it is. But like, oh my god, just the atmosphere, like Layla and Kat. Oh my god, dude, I was so into it. And like, I think because in this you have. I mean, let's not forget, these books are set in 2007, but it is California, but still, like, I think, like, 2007 is, like, I guess, I don't know if we can assume the same American timeline as our current universe, but 2007 is, like, still George Bush, and still not, like, super super like progressive. But like you've got non-binary character, you've got polyamory, you've got trans characters, you've got like lesbian, gay, etc. relationships, and it's just like really, it's just like chef's kiss, well done, um, and like really just I don't know, I loved it. This USC team is I think I really believe in it as a place for Jean to heal. um, but yeah, this book really isn't all that much about like I think there's a lot of gameplay in AFTG. This book takes place during the summer, so there's no gameplay. John's super injured, so like this book is more about Jean and Jeremy than it is about like playing Xe per se. There's a lot of things like I guess I hadn't really like knowing the deal between Ichiro and Neil. I had sort of been like, well, obviously they're going to go on to play like professional Xe because they're the best, and like yeah, they'll have to give away their salaries, but like it's fine. But this is more spoilers. There's like this whole attitude of John's being like kind of worried about losing his kind of training and losing his place and losing his ability because of how important it is that he does play professionally, because that's his only like source of worth. I hadn't really considered, because Neil just comes at it with like this brazen confidence that he will be a professional Xe player, and also this kind of like Neil's kind of come into his own and like moved past these things that John hasn't yet, and so like there's so much that John needs to needs to heal from. That is really kind of the motivating factors in this book, and you can see like you can see how that is starting to come together. At the like he is growing towards the end of the book, and like the second book is definitely going to throw some curveballs at him. You can like the way the book ends, like you can see how his personal life will be affected in the second book, and how that's going to impact like his team life and his relationships and everything. But you can see like the growth that he has throughout the book. At the end, it's really nicely done, where like things aren't perfect by any means, but like you can see how he's going to like you can see how he's going to rely on people and how he's going to grow in the second book, regardless of like what's coming down the line at him. And I feel like the arc of the book was really well done to create that. Like the final act action, you could see like there was a lot of kind of log jams in terms of pushing Jean forward, but they like this series of actions in the end is like really nicely done to like create that movement for him. So yeah, I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible, but like, oh my god, thank you, Nora. I really enjoyed it. I have like a million things to do, a million things I was supposed to do today. There's laundry to fold, there's like dishes to wash. I have like a million things to do. It did not stop me from spending 4 hours reading the book and then spending another 45 minutes trying to get my phone set up on a fucking tripod and recording this. And yeah, I'm still wearing like my jacket from when I came inside from outdoors and saw the notification that the book had been posted. So I made this jacket. So yeah, I'm talented. I think I've said enough. I think I've rambled enough. Maybe I'll upload this without any editing. Probably not. Okay. Bye. I hope you enjoy the book.